Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, Internet. Welcome. Welcome to the end of the fourth week of NL Math Man Math Help Streams. This is day 19 down there, not day 20, right? Which it would be if it was 4 full weeks, but we had Good Friday. I didn't do a stream on Good Friday. So, we're uh we're being accurate. Happy Friday. Yes, Albert Einstein. Happy Friday to you too. Glad you could join me here. We've got a nice background today. Oh, a very sweet one. Very sweet one for starting off today. Yeah, this is this little flurry here, and my title alludes to her heterochromia, we'll say, which is I believe it's a recessive trait, so which ties in with some of the biology tests that my students have been doing. But yeah, she's part lab and part husky, so you can see she's got a brown eye and a blue eye there. This picture was this is many years ago now. This is what, 8.5 years ago or so. She's less than a year old there, only a few months old. Um, she was actually part of a litter that was found without her parents down in Goose Bay, just outside Goose Bay, in Labrador. And yeah, they didn't really know how old she was, so the vet just made an estimation, right, based on her teeth and like whatever it is that the vets use. And turns out afterwards that they estimated her to be older than she was. So she was actually like when we got her, or when my parents got her rather, she was only a few weeks old apparently. And in this picture now, she's I don't know, maybe 4 months or so. Yeah, she was very impish right from the start for sure. I've got a video that I'll show on stream sometime. I called Puppy Chase. We were fostering her sister for a brief period as well, Fawn, although Fawn ended up with another family afterwards. But Flurry here was a real instigator when she was a little puppy, let me tell you. Fawn would be just, sitting down peaceful and just like chewing on something or playing with a toy or whatever. Flurry'd walk over to Fawn and just bat right aside the back of the head and then run away. And then Fawn would chase after her and stuff. Flurry was a runt of the litter, but you wouldn't know it by the way she acts toward her toward her sisters. She's kind of the same way with Smokey now sometimes, right? Smokey's not her real brother, obviously, but we call him brother. But yeah, I mean, she might be 9 years old now, but occasionally she'll still get right full of piss and vinegar and just walk up to Smokey and smack him upside the head or grab his toy and run away with it or something. Occasionally she still reverts to a puppy. Anyway, so as we see down below me here, today I'm going to be briefly, before I get started with some of the questions I've been asked by students, briefly I'll go over how to start sort of the first of the level 3 math and how we're going to be submitting those. I've got several students who are starting Math 1102A either now or in the near future. So I just wanted to briefly go over how we're going to approach those for distance teaching for anyone who's not sure of that already. Right, and then I'm going to do a bit on finding unit price, which is the very first topic in Math 1102A. I'll cover that really briefly, just to kind of show you what I'm expecting for your notes. Then I'm going to go on to some questions that students ask me specifically about line equations, and then a bit more on systems of equations. I know we've covered that topic a few times lately, but it's a really good topic because it's very fundamental to a lot of the stuff that comes up later on in your courses. Right? Okay. How's my chroma key looking today? I really bulked it up this time. I spent a bit of work on trying to figure it out. Let's see how close I can get. Oh, okay. Okay, we're getting a little bit. We're getting a little bit once I get up this close, but I ain't gonna be this close very often, am I? Let me see. Back here. Okay, it's looking good. It's looking good. All right. So, without further ado, I'll switch on over to my working display. Here we are. And now, I'll flip on back over. I want to start off with the study guide first. Actually, no, I need the document display. Document display is a bit better. Here we go. So we can see it a little bit bigger. Right? So this is what the guide looks like that you'll be seeing. It is quite a bit different than the guides for the level 2 courses, right? Because these are more comprehensive, sort of all in one. Most of the stuff that you need for the course entirely is here. So basically, there's two main things for just submitting work via distance. So I'm just going to briefly go down through that for the several students. I think Lucas, Renetta, and might be it. Carly is about to start these ones in like another course or so. So submitting level 3 math. Level 3 math. Okay, just to briefly explain what that means. Level 3 is in Newfoundland what we call senior high, right? So level 2 is junior high, level 3 is senior high for ABE. Not to be confused with the actual high school system, where level 2 means grade 11 and level 3 means grade 12. A little bit silly that the two different branches of the government that offer high school, AESL and the normal school curriculum, have the same term, level 2 and level 3, but they have it mean something totally different, right? But for our purposes here in ABE, which is under the purview of AESL, when we say level 2, we mean junior high, which is grades 7, 8, and 9. And then when we say level 3, we mean senior high, which is grades 10, 11, and 12, or level 1, 2, and 3 if you're a high school teacher. Anyway, we need to belabor that. That's actually mostly just confusing for me or for anyone else who's doing this while having students in having children say in high school. It never gets old. It literally never. Look at that. Look at that. That's great. That's amazing. Just look. Never gets old. Um. Okay. So So complete notes, but you don't need to submit them because the solutions are at the end of your guide, right? So while we're doing distance teaching, in class I do take in the notes and I just sort of check them to make sure they're done. But for distance teaching, I understand that like submitting math work is a lot of work because you got to like grab your cell phone and then start taking pictures of it or whatever, you know, right? Or a camera, or I mean, if you got a scanner will save you a lot of time. It's a lot easier to use a scanner than it is to use a phone to take pictures. But either way, if you scroll on down over here, right, whoop, way on down, you'll notice for this course, answers to textbook questions right down here at the end of the guide. Right there they are. So from here, you can check the answers to all the work that you're doing. So I'm not super concerned, but if you got it done or if you got the right answer, they are really, really good for practice. So I do strongly encourage you to still do them, right? And I will be, if you ask me any questions about those, I'll be more than happy to go over those and show you how to do any of the questions from the notes. But this is different than the Unit 2, the Level 2 courses, which is why I wanted to point it out right now, right? Because in the Level 2 courses, you do need to submit all the notes because those are sort of like arithmetic, computation, sort of fundamentals courses, right? Whereas here, you're going to be submitting the assignment. So you're going to submit your assignments. Your assignments are at the end of each unit. So if I scroll down here in Unit 1, we go on down and it says here, complete assignment 1 attached at the end of the booklet. It's actually not attached at the end of the booklet. It's attached right next. It will be the end of the Unit 1 booklet, right? So here's the assignment. It just says there, assignment number 1, right? Do that one, send that one in to me. If you ask me questions about the assignment, I won't necessarily answer them. I might give you a cryptic like half answer, but that's because these ones are for marks, right? Whereas the notes are not. In the notes, I'll answer whatever you ask. Look at that. Now that's a phrase. That's a phrase that students like. Afterwards, you'll get the review sheet, and then you can submit the review sheet for extra marks, right? So this is just a little bit of a breakdown about how this goes. Once you've submitted your assignment, which is here, I will then send you a review sheet, which is like another assignment, but it's made to be similar to the questions that are on the test. That assignment is optional, but if you do submit it, then you'll get credit for it as if it was another assignment, right? So that's sort of helping to make up some of the marks that we're losing by not having the notes be required right now. I would strongly recommend you complete all the review sheets and submit them to me, because then basically that'll give you extra marks that'll offset your test a bit, right? Because without that, your tests are now all of a sudden worth a lot more than they used to be in class. And you generally don't want that. It's better to have the tests worth less so that, because it's easy. It's easy to make one random mistake on a test, right? But you don't want that one random mistake to cost you like 3% of your course. You'd rather it cost you like 0.5% of your course, right? And that's what you can achieve by doing the review sheets, right? So then you're going to do the test on each unit. Now, I'm not going to walk through our testing procedure here on stream. That one has been explained at length in several emails I've sent, and it's a bit more formal. So, yeah, do read through that. But we are still doing tests via distance, just there's a time limit and some other stuff to make sure that you're not, just looking up everything on Google or whatever. But we are still totally able to do tests, and we've got measures in place to preserve the integrity of our tests and our exams. So there will be a test after each unit, right? And the guides walk you down through that pretty well. Okay? So I think that's enough yammering on about that. Right now, what I'm going to do is just show an example of the first topic here. So let me just scroll on back up, get this nice sound effects going. Sound effects from my fancy mouse. Oh, I haven't actually shown you guys my mouse at any point. Look at that. Look at that mouse. Look at that. That's what's making these sound effects, right? Listen, listen. See? And you hold it. It's a vertical mouse. It's a vertical mouse. Don't mind my knuckle. That's arthritis. But you hold this mouse vertically, right? As you see here. So your hand is in what they call a handshake position, right? Like this. It's way, way, way better on your arm. Like this tendon up here. I've had a little bit of trouble with this because I've been playing, keyboard and mouse video games since I was like 6. So I've had some like carpal tunnel related problems over there. But this mouse, let me tell you, the vertical mouse helps drastically. It's amazing. It's a real game changer. Like I have a Logitech, like I don't know, MMORPG mouse with like 16 thumb buttons. It's really nice. It was a nice mouse and I've used it for ages. But I got to tell you, like going from holding your hand like this to holding your hand like this, it's a huge difference for ergonomics. It's really good stuff. That should be something that's mentioned in these OH&S courses, right? Because I used to actually teach part of the a small part of the OH&S program at Academy Canada. I did like related stuff like presentation skills and interpreting statistics and math and reading scholarly articles and all this kind of jazz. But yeah, vertical mice, that should really be part of like office ergonomics. It's really good stuff. Anyway, so what I'm going to do right now, math 1102A is going to be unit 1. This is going to be page, I'm going to pick page 10, right? Yeah, page 10 in Math at Work, which is the textbook. Now, all the students that are starting currently, you receive digital versions of the textbook, right? Not because we received permission from the publisher to go ahead and distribute those to our students during social distancing, which is a great thing. It's a big help for us as a school. And it helps keep everybody involved safe as possible. But so you'll have PDF versions, and your PDF versions will look like this, what I've got over on the side here now, right? But you can go ahead and use these PDFs just like you would any other textbook. Let me zoom in a touch. I'm zoomed out a bit far here. All right, so you can use these just like you would any other ones, and you see down here they've got the page numbers just like any other book, right? So I'm just going to scroll down to what would be page 10. It's really great because it's an actual, like it's the actual, no artifacting, no like scanning or anything like that. This is just the textbook. All right, so I'm going to scroll on down here to page 10, and your notes if you look over at your study guide, right, you see here, it says required work, pages 10 and 11, numbers 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8. So that just means we'll pop back over to this one. 2, 3, 4, and then 6 and 8 are on the next page. So I'm just going to go very quickly and do some of these, like 2, 3, and 4 maybe. So I'll zoom in a bit so you guys can see it. All right, so question 2, calculate the unit price of each, of each product in question 1. So from your notes, right, your notes also have really good examples in them. So if you go back over to the notes here, you will see that this is an example of how you find unit price. I'm going to work through an example here now as well of how you find unit price. So let me pop back over here. So calculate the unit price of each product in number 1. All right, so that's what I'll do as an example here. So 2A, we're going to find the unit price of pens. So it's $17.90 for 10 pens, right? So the unit price means the price per unit, right? And a big part of the math in this program, and a big part of any sort of worded problems especially, is learning how to turn the math language into math symbols, right? Price per unit. Well, what does that mean? Well, per means divide. We know that, right? So price per unit just means price divided by units. Hey, it's just that simple, right? But understanding the difference there is understanding what the language is saying, right? So here we've got 17.90 for 10 pens. Well, the price per unit is just going to be the price, 17.90, divided by the number of units. That's all. And you'll get, of course, $1.79 because dividing by 10 is easy. There we go. That's it. 2A down. Right? And when you're going through this, what I'm writing out here, I'm doing it on blank paper because I don't want lines like interfering with what my camera is seeing. But of course, you'll probably be using lined paper. It's totally fine. You could use unlined if you wanted. You could use backs of old assignments from whatever. You could use, I don't know, the other side of your tax return. Don't use the other side. If you don't use the other side of your tax return, keep that one. But yeah, just any old paper you got lying around. 2B, that was the pen that's running out, as we see. So 2B here now. $7.25 for 4 liters of milk. So again, right, price per unit is just price divided by the units. So it's going to be $7.29 divided by 4, right? Because we're looking for price per unit. Let me find my old friend here. Here we go. My friend TI-84. Turn E on. So 7.29 divided by 4. $1.82. There we go. That's all you got to do, right? That's it. Price per unit. And this is the kind of thing that I would expect to see when you hand it in, right? If you were to hand in this, or if you were to do it in class, right? You would have the name of your course, your page number, and then just you're working for your activities, right? So that's not these aren't super difficult questions. Let's do question 5. Let's do question 5, and then I'll move on to a different topic here. So in question 5, it's asking us, you need to buy potting soil for some plants. Which potting soil has the lower unit price? Show your work. Okay. Well, again, remember, it's price per unit. So we always have price per unit means price divided by units. That's all. Right? So here now, the price per unit for Lush Grow is going to be, price is $4.29 divided by units, which is 8.8 liters. Right? And let me keep the units here now and just show you what happens. Right? Because if you do dollars divided by liter, what you end up with in the end is a unit of dollars per liter, which is exactly what you're looking for. So 49 cents. And I'll write it afterwards, dollars per liter. Dollars are weird, like I talked about before. They're kind of weird that the money symbol goes before, right? Although pounds do it before as well, but euros do it after, and most European currencies have the money symbol afterwards. But anyway, $0.49 per liter, right? Because that's the unit price. And then green leaf, appropriate to be doing this question in green ink. Green leaf is going to be 649 divided by 17. When I was teaching in the UK, we had to use green ink extensively to write comments on students' papers because they said that you couldn't use red because red is like an aggressive color. So you have to use green to make your comments because it's friendlier and more permissive. I mean, maybe there's some truth to that for small children, right? But I do like the color green though. I do like green ink quite a lot. $0.38 per liter. So which one's the better deal? Well, green leaf. Green leaf's the better deal. There it is, right there. Right? Which has the lower unit price? Well, this guy. There we go. So then, which of the following factors might be considerations of making this purchase? Explain. Okay. I'm not going to necessarily go down through and belabor that one a whole lot. But obviously, all those things are important, right? The quality, the expiry date, your budget, the amount needed, the brand name. Well, the brand name, it's a bit odd. I mean, not really, I guess, but the other ones all will be. A little peek behind the curtain. Those questions like that, like part B there, 5B, where they just kind of ask you, oh, hey, look, that one's clear too. Nice. Ones like 5B where they ask you some sort of conceptual question like, oh, what are the pluses and minuses of like I'm getting a lease instead of buying a car? Or like what's what are the other considerations for if you're going to buy this shampoo or not? Those are just free marks. There's absolutely free marks. Just make an attempt. Just figure something common sense out. That's just a way for me to bump your mark up a bit, basically. The only way you get those wrong is by leaving them out. So it always really bothers me when someone just like skips over those questions. They're like, oh, I can't be bothered. It's like, come on, dude. That's like 2 free marks out of like a thing that's marked at a 50. That's 4%. 4% for free. Don't throw away 4%. Okay. Um, right. So I also want to show sort of how you would do up the questions for the assignments. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to show. I don't usually show the assignment questions that much, but I'm going to show the first question to the first assignment here, just so you see how I would expect you to write it out. Oh, there's also a formula sheet in the guide, as you see here above me, right? Let me switch on over, actually. It's a formula sheet right there, right? So that's pretty useful. The term sheet as well, yeah, you do need to fill that one out. That is part of the assignment. So for the term sheet, you would just write it on paper, right? Just like you would just have unit price, right? So for the term sheet, all I would expect is something like, unit price. And then just write the definition out, right? Like the cost to purchase 1 unit of an item, I could say. Whatever. Just something along those lines, right? Boy. See, this Microsoft LifeCam leaves a lot to be desired. Look at that. Like the lighting here in this room has not changed, but yet this camera all of a sudden is acting like it's the middle of the night. You can't out video your camera, right? Can't outcook your ingredients. Can't outstream your camera. So I'll show you basically how you would do. Wait, that's the exact same one. That's the exact same one as the one from the book. What the crap? What the actual crap? Those are exactly the same. I literally did not notice that before. That. Wait a minute. That's the one in the book. That's the one in the assignment. Wow, boy, they're really taking it easy on you in this course. Hey, look at that. All right, well, I guess I don't need to show it again. But all you would be expected to submit for your assignment is something like this, right? You would just write it out like this. We call it Unit 1. Indicate on there somewhere that it's your assignment 1. like so. Scratch out that bit because it's not a page anymore. And then just, just write them out with the number clearly by it. I like to alternate colors on my ink, but because I have them and because I'm doing this, you don't need to do that. Just make it clear with the numbers here which working is for which question. Right? And then, take a picture of it with your phone or scan it and then email it in to me. If you're one of my students, you've already got my email. I'm not going to share that one on stream just because, don't want you all doxing me. I think I've given more than enough information over the course of my 19 math streams that anybody could dox me if they really wanted to. Probably. I'm trembling in fear of the wrath of the internet. Okay, so next up I'm going to look at those systems of equations again, right? So just give me one quick second here. Right, so I'm going to flip on over now. I was asked specifically by a student to cover, let's see, worksheet 4, here we go. Cover some of the solve by graphing ones, okay? So I'm going to do some examples of solving by graphing here off of this sheet. So let me just zoom on in. Actually, let me flip back over to this display here. So solve by graphing and use the grids on there. Now, unfortunately, again, I still don't have any grid paper, but we're gonna make do. I'm gonna show you how to rearrange the formulas here on the paper. Then we'll pop over to our handy dandy pal Desmos.com and we'll go through and graph those guys. But generally, what I would suggest is just put it into y equals mx plus b form. I know sometimes it's easier said than done, but I think when I show you how to do it, it's going to be pretty clear what I mean. So this is like the ones off worksheet 4, the solve by graphing. All right? And if anyone in chat or anything like that has any other questions about this topic, just or any other topic, just drop it in there. I know the student that asked me to do these just sort of said they wanted me to cover them, but I'm not quite sure, if what I'll do here will answer the question or not. So if it doesn't, just let me know. So that's going to be 5x minus y equals 7. And then we also have 3x plus 2y equals 12. Okay? So like I was saying, the easiest way to graph these, in my opinion, is to get them in the form y equals mx plus b. Right? In this form, y is equal to the slope of the line, and b is equal to the y-intercept. There are other forms that we can get it into in order to graph it, right? There are even ways that we can go ahead and graph it directly from this form. But one reason I suggest to always get to this one is partly because the algebra is relatively easy. It just means y is by itself, and then everything else is over here altogether. And because it, I don't know, I think it's the easiest one to work with in general. But either way. So for this one here, I need to move the y so it's by itself. So I'm going to move the y over. I'm going to call this 5x equals 7 plus y. And I'm going to move the 7 over. 5x minus 7 equals y. Okay? And now we can, if we're graphing by hand, which is what we're supposed to do for this activity, right? If we're graphing by hand, now this is a fairly easy one to go ahead and graph. I'm going to do out a freehand coordinate plane as best I can here. Always label your axes. So 5x minus 7 equals y, so our y-intercept is minus 7. So I'm going to go down 7. I'm going to have these be each about, I don't know, let's say 2 millimeters. All right, so that's minus 7. And then, so we're going to put a dot here or a point here. And then we know that our slope is 5, right? which means whenever it goes to the right 1, it goes up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right 1, there it is. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right 1 again. We'll say it's going to be about there. So this is going to be our first line once I join these guys up. Here, like so. So that's our first line. The next line, I'll do that in a different color. I'll do it in the angry red. Ah, see, the red one doesn't disappear. Red pen don't care. It's still there. There we go. So I'm again going to rearrange this one to get y by itself. So I'm going to have 3x equals 12 minus 2y. I'm going to move the 2y over. 3x minus 12 equals negative 2y. Divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 3 over 2x plus 6 equals y. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and graph this one as well. So I'm going to have 6 up. Like I said, I was doing 2 millimeters per line here. Maybe that was a bit small, actually, in retrospect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? So I know that that plus 6 is going to be my y-intercept. Then it's negative 3 over 2. Now remember, slope equals rise over run. Right? So there's a rise of minus 3, or a drop of 3, over a run of 2. So we're going to go to the right 2, 1, 2, there like so, and then down 3. So to the right 2, then down 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right here. So to the right 2, 1, 2, and down 1, 2, 3, back down to here. So then our line is going to look a little, whoa, I'm getting way off, way out of my shot. There we go. That is our second line, the one we've done up in red. And now when it tells us to solve by graphing, solving by graphing is a bit easier because all we've got to do is look at this now and actually just estimate where it is. I mean, we can see fairly clearly, I think, that it's the 0.23. We could, of course, plug it into the formulas here to see if it'll work out that way. But of course, we're told not to do that, right? We're not told to do it via substitution or elimination. We were told to do it through graphing, so we did it through graphing. So now let's check. Let's check and make sure that we're doing this one correctly. Okay. So I'm gonna head on over to my internet window display here. There we go. Now let's pop my video back up so I can see what I'm inputting while I'm putting it in here. So this is going to be inputting while I'm putting it in here, sliding across. This is going to be good stuff. So now we've got good stuff. So now we've y equals 5x minus 7. 5x. We'll go down to the next one. Can I just hit enter and go down? 5x. Oh no, enter turns it off. Okay, never mind. Enter and go down. Then I'm going to have enter turns it off. Okay, never mind. Enter and go down. Y equals. Then I'm going to have enter turns it off. Okay. Negative 3 over 2. Then I'm going to have x. Negative 3 over 2 plus 6. X. There we go. Now if I move this out of here, there we go. Now we can go over and see. Does that look? How does that look? Does that look very similar to what we drew? Well, let's compare them. Let's compare them side by side. Does that look very similar to what we drew? Well, let's compare them. Let's compare them side by side. Does that look very similar to what we drew? This down a little bit. Compare them side by side. Yeah, it looks fairly similar, doesn't it? Looks pretty similar to what we did. It looks fairly similar, doesn't it? Looks pretty similar. So we know now that our point of intersection, these two lines, that our point of intersection right here. See if we mouse over it. Lines that our mouse over. There we go. There we go. Mouse over lines. 2, 3. Mouse over. There we go. Right. There we go. Good stuff. 2, 3. Mouse over. There we go. There we got them. There we go. Good stuff. So yeah, let's go do another. So do another example of those, I guess. So do another example of those. Pop back over here to my working. Oh, I think the ones that the student asked about specifically were the worksheet 1 ones. Okay. So I'll tell you what, I'll do the next one out of worksheet 4, then I'll go back and do numbers 1 and 2 off of worksheet 1. Right, okay. My voice is... Oh, How long? Oh my. Oh my. Thanks, Betty Ann. How long? How long was it like that? Was it like that this entire time? Have I been like that now for 35 minutes? When you were doing the graph Desmo. Oh, okay, okay, good, good. At least it wasn't like that the entire time. You know, these things happen, right? That's what I'm saying. These things happen. Okay. Um. Well, well, that's unfortunate. Just since I brought up the graph. Oh, okay. Well, thanks. Sometimes, we make mistakes. Anyway, thanks for the catch there. As you see, as you see, I don't have my headphones on right now. So normally if I was listening to my headphones, I would have heard that. But I decided to not wear headphones anymore because it was messing up my chroma key for my blue green screen, Whoops. Oh well, you know, these these things happen. Let's do one more of these guys, and then I'll pop over and do sheet one. This is number 15. 15 on worksheet 4. So again, I'm going to start off with oh boy, start off with, let's see, 10x minus 5y equals 25. Okay, so now I'm going to rearrange this one to get the y's by itself. So it's going to be 10x minus 25 equals 5y. So I just sort of did two things at the same time there. Then I'm going to divide by 5 for each, and I'm going to get 2x minus 5 equals y. Okay, so that's a pretty good one. It's a fairly straightforward line to graph. Go ahead and do this. Although at least, as far as technical problems with the screen goes, at least I seem to have the internet stuff worked out. I haven't dropped any frames all week. Okay, so 2x minus 5 equals y. So minus 5, I'm gonna give myself half a centimeter for each notch this time. Now see, it's got to be something to do with like the amount of light that's coming through at any given time of the day, because it always seems like after an hour or hours thereabout through, my chroma key starts going off again, right? And I start getting like holes in my sweater. But I mean, I've got garbage bags up in front of all the windows here. You know, thought that it should be dark enough to black it out, but I guess not. Okay, so it's 2x minus 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where 5 down is going to be here. 2x, of course, means that our slope is going to be 2 over 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll just do out a few of those. So it's going to go up 2 when it goes to the right 1. So up 2, right 1, right here. Up 2, right 1, right here. So there we go. Oh, I meant to do that in green, of course, because that was the one that I was doing in green over there. So I'll draw it in green. There we go. That's our green line, the one that we just found there then. So let's do the next one. Let's do the next one also in red then. So now we have 2x minus y equals 10. Move the y over. I'm just going to have 2x minus 10 equals y. Easy stuff. Hmm. 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 What do we notice? What do we notice about these two, chat? What do we notice? I'll tell you what we notice. I'll tell you now in a second. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 down. Then 7, 8, 9, and 10. So extend down a bit further. that one there, right? And now as we go for our slope, we're going to go right 1 up 2, right 1 up 2. They're like that. Now if I take it and draw it, we'll see that I'm actually off quite a bit. I should have gone to the right a fair bit more for that dot. Right? It's hard. It's hard to do it like this, but you know it's good enough. It's like the Chris Rock bit, right? I got my GED, good enough diploma. Oh, that's a bit on the nose. It's a bit on the nose seeing the job that I have. Well, my dad did GED. He calls it that. He makes that joke. So that doesn't mean that I'm allowed to. Just anyway. So as we see here with my good enough graph, these two lines don't look like they're going to cross, do they? I certainly don't have a point of intersection here. Well, and of course we know that we're not going to get a point of intersection, right? And we know that because the slopes are the same. If the slopes are the same, then the lines are parallel, right? But just to pop us on back over to Desmos, hopefully without any background noise this time. Go on over here. Whee! All right. So we've got y equals, slide this over, y equals 2x minus 5 to x minus 10. And as we see over here, of course it is, like I was saying, they are not going to intersect at any point, right? These are parallel lines. I mean, we can zoom out. We can keep zooming out until they look like the same line. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, when our graph is approximately like 2,000 to the left, all of a sudden now they look like the same line. But of course they're not. I'm just zooming out on the infinite coordinate plane that Desmos represents. Oh, I appear to have lost the I've lost the origin. There we go. But yep, those are parallel lines, so they ain't going cross. Ain't going cross never. All right, pop back over to the document display here. So, Betty Ann, see you're in chat there. The questions that you asked for specifically, I believe, were worksheet 1. So I'm going to go back up and do those ones here now. Excuse me. Some good, some good scroll wheel sounds. Gotta get those onto the video for sure. Some rink, rink, rink. Okay, back over to my working display. There we are. Zoom in a touch. Yeah, that's good. Zoomed in quite a lot. So now this is Math 1101C. I can't remember what unit. It is Unit 3, but anyway, I'll just call it Worksheet 1. 1101C Worksheet 1. Okay. So question 1 here. Still, I would recommend still to graph these by turning them into y equals mx plus b. Right? And I'll just put another aside down here. Y equals mx plus b. M equals slope, which equals rise over run. And b equals y intercept. Sometimes you'll see it called y equals mx plus c if I accidentally give you one of the sheets that I, used in the UK to help kids prep for GCSEs. But it's exactly the same. Although those sheets won't say slope either. They'll say gradient. But gradient and slope are the same. And c and b are the same, apparently, right? English teachers might disagree. But in math, we don't care. Like c and b, whatever. It's just letters. Letters don't mean anything. Okay, so for question 1, let's keep doing my multicolor style. So I'll have 4x minus y equals negative 9. So let's rearrange this so that the y is by itself. 4x minus 9 equals y. Hey, just sort of move those guys over, right? So that looks like something we'll be able to draw. Go ahead and do out a coordinate plane. Actually, I'm going to do one large coordinate plane, and I'm going to use it for both or all of the questions that I'm going to do here. Let's do a bigger one. Let's even make sure that it's a 90-degree angle in the middle by using this triangle as if it were a carpenter's square. It's not quite right. I should have lined it up a bit better. But anyway, this is going to be y's. This is going to be x's. So we've got 4x minus 9 equals y. All right. So minus 9, I'm going to go ahead and use half-centimeter gradations again. Of course, if you were using graph paper, you wouldn't even need to do this. But, you know, we're all doing what we can with what we got, right? So minus 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. And now 4 means it's going to go, the rise is going to be 4 when the run is 1. I'll put a few notches across here. So a rise of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a run of 1. Rise of 4, 2, 3, 4, and a run of 1. There we go. Now this was the one that I did in blue. So here we're going to go slide the blue line across. There we go. That's the blue line. Now, let's start in with the red line. Red line. Red line's pretty good. Red line is a fantastic EDM, electronic dance music album called Red Line by Laserhawk. That's really good. Or it's not really EDM. It's not electric dance music. No, it's what do people call it? Outlast? Outlast or Outrun? Yeah, it's real good. It's real good cardio music. It's a deadly album. Anything by Laserhawk or like Carpenter Brute. Carpenter Brute. I don't know. Lee Matos. Lee Matos is great. There's some really good stuff out there. Anyway, half x plus 2 equals y. There's a Dark Souls streamer I watched that also has a kick-ass like Outrun slash Outlast slash Vaporwave slash whatever playlist, which I really enjoy. The Happy Hob has that one. It's great. Yeah, sort of rambling while I'm doing these. So now we've got plus 2. Let's pop up here. There we go. And now plus 2 is where we're going to start. So that's going to be over here. And then a half x. So it's going to go up by a half, right? Which means it's a rise over run, right? It goes up by a half for each one it goes over. That's a harder way to do it, to mark, changing by a half. Easier way to do it is just to go to a run of 2 and a rise of 1. So we're going to go to the right 2, 1, 2, and then a run of 1. And go to the right 2 again, and another run of 1. Now I can go ahead and draw out my red line. Maybe we should put on red line. Maybe I'll sing it for you. You can't really sing Vaporwave. I mean, occasionally there's lyrics. Don't want to play copyrighted music on my stream, right? Like at Twitch muting my VODs. That's a real concern. VODs are like, for my channel, VODs are like what makes the world go around, right? Because that's the main thing for me, is that my videos need to be there for students to check and watch and rewatch, and it's super practical. I have actually put a lot of my old videos on YouTube, but for whatever reason, it seems to be they seem to be doing it only in SD and not in HD. So the quality of the video is much better on Twitch, by the way. So thank you very much, Twitch.tv, for hosting my inane ramblings about math in a high quality. Anyway, so I've continued the blue line over, and now we can see that it crosses. I'm going to call that maybe 2.5, 3.5. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. It's tough to make out, But if we're doing it, if we're solving by graphing, and Betty Ann, this might have been your question specifically. If we're solving by graphing, you can just look at this and estimate. You don't need to actually figure out the number. I mean, we could. We could go and actually figure out the numbers through algebra, right? Because I've already got this equal to this, so I already know that, say, for example, 4x minus 9 is going to be equal to a half x plus 2, right? Which is going to mean now that let's say 3.5x is going to be equal to 11. Then x is going to be 11 over 3.5. So our x coordinate is going to be 3.14. Looks like I might be off a bit in my drawing, right? But that's you know, we could do this, but that's not what it's asking us to do. So there's no need to do that on here. What we're asked to do is solve it by graphing. So I'm going to pop over to Desmos again and hope that my voice is gonna sound normal. Let's go over. Here we are. So now I'm gonna type these two guys in. So we've got 4x minus 9 for one line, right? If it's y equals, we don't even need to put it in, but I'll put it in anyway. Bring up a new one. 1 over 2 x. That's important. Now let me show you something. Let me show you something that's small, but it can be an issue. Because also, Betty Ann, you've got some computer assignments, I think, in this course and in the later ones, which they ask you to do on Desmos. There's an easy mistake to make here. Say I do y equals 1 over 2. If I type x immediately afterwards, watch what happens. The x is now in the denominator, and now we end up with this like logarithm-looking curve, right? Which is like that curve that we shows on there is not at all what we're wanting to see. So the way we're going to fix that is instead of typing x there, I'm going to hit right on my keyboard. I'm going to hit, oh, let me bring this video capture device back up. I'm going to hit this button, right? Just the right arrow, and then watch that's going to put the that's going to put my cursor over to here, and then when I hit X, it's going to be alongside it where it needs to be. Then I'm going to go plus 2. There we go. Now we've got our lines drawn. So now let me just look at the point of intersection. Hey, 3.143 is the x coordinate. Let me just show you that again. There we go, right? So I would never expect you to be all that precise in this activity, because this is just a graphing activity. Like if you said 3 and 3.5, that is totally fine, right? So because it specifically tells you to do it by graphing, you definitely do not need to go through and do out the algebra for it, although you are able to, right? Because this down here, this is still correct, just we didn't need to do it. We do one more example of this guy, and then I think yeah, we might call it a Friday then. Tap out at about an hour. Boy, I can get back to my correcting and paperwork. End of the week paperwork, It's bittersweet, end of the week paperwork, right? Like you're never like paperwork is never it's not really the main thing you're looking to do when you're a teacher, but it's got to be done. But at least you know that once it's done, then the week is done, right? So Fridays, it's all right. We'll get through it. Anyway, so now for question 2, I'll do that one on here as well. On the same grid. It's going to be 1 over 6x minus 1 over 3y is equal to 2. Right now, there's a whole bunch of different ways that I could go about rearranging this one to graph it, just like all of these. But again, I'm going to keep putting it in the general form, the y equals mx plus b, this guy down here. Okay, so I'm going to call this 1 over 6x minus 2 is equal to 1 over 3y. I'm going to multiply both sides by 3 now, and I'm going to get 1 over 2x minus 6 is equal to y. Right? Because I've multiplied both sides by 3 to get rid of that one. Oh, you're absolutely right. Yes, I'm sorry, Betty Ann. I didn't see your comment there. You are absolutely right. Yes, this would when this switched over, this would be a plus. Boy, oh boy. I am I obviously I'm not paying close enough attention, am I? No, I'm really not. Sorry, I should have seen your message earlier about that one. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. The okay, let's pretend the teacher didn't make a mistake. So why pretend that? Why pretend that indeed? Let's go back over to Desmos then. Okay. This is what it should look like. Yes. Boy. There we go. Minus 2, 1. That that sounds more like it. That sounds more like what the answer was that we were looking for. So you know what? Yeah, these things happen, right? I'm not saying I would get 100% in these courses. I definitely definitely would not. Okay. So never mind. Never mind this guy. Should be over there somewhere. Hey, you know, this is not an answer key. But yes, you're absolutely right. That should be a plus 9 because we're adding 9 to both sides. Yeah, just like this is a plus 4, just like this one became a minus 2. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Boy, if only the teacher knew what they were doing, right? But actually, you know what I'm gonna you know what? This is another teacher trick, right? This is another big one. Whenever you make a mistake on the board or in workings or something, you always tell the students, "Oh, I was doing that intentionally. I was doing that intentionally just to make sure that you were paying attention, that you were watching, right?" So there we go. It all worked out. I was able to, with my quick thinking and wit and wisdom, I was able to make sure that you were paying attention. That's what's that's what's going down. Okay. So just to carry on, 5x plus 2y equals 12 over here, right? So then we switch these guys. 5x minus 12 equals negative 2y. Negative 5 over 2x plus 6 equals y. Okay? So now I'm psyched out now. Let me make sure I'm doing these right. 5x plus 2y, yep, that becomes a negative, that becomes a negative, so then they both divide by negative 2. Okay, that's right. These ones here, this becomes a positive, this becomes a negative, and they're both multiplied by 3. Okay, seems like we're on track. So minus 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Minus 6, and then up 1 when it goes right 2, up 1 when it goes right 2. So we'll call this the green line. And then negative 5 over 2x plus 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll keep doing it with my ruler. 6 right there. So it's going to start off here. And negative 5 over 2, which means it's going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And to the right 2. 1, 2. Down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To the right 2. There we go. A little bit off because again, we're doing it all freehand. Maybe there was a line over here too. You know what? Maybe there was a line right there. I don't know. You tell me. Okay. Okay. So now we can see that the green and the black lines are going to cross down here, which looks like about, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 minus 4? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it looks like about 4 minus 4. But now let's switch back over to the internet. Give me an expression, which is 1 over 2. Now put to the right, 1 over 2 x minus 6 equals y. Oh, it looked like it wasn't coming up right, but it is. Okay. Then down here in this next one, that one is going to be negative 5 over 2. Now remember, I got to push to the right. There we go. Negative 5 over 2x plus 6. There we are. It is. It is indeed. The point of intersection is going to be, like I said. There we go. So I got some of them right. It's going to be 4 and negative 4. So there we go. All right. That's that topic down. Betty Ann, hopefully that was useful for you. You know, and obviously entirely objectively correct, as everything is that I do. Okay, so that'll be everything for today, I guess. Let me back over to my intro screen. It's not starting soon. It's already started. Well, you're very welcome. Thanks for dropping by, and yeah, glad to be. It's always good to have people interacting live when I'm doing these questions, because then you can catch it when I, put a little trick in there to make sure that you're paying attention, right? But also, it's good to be able to get feedback and ask questions and get answers live, right? It is a lot more like we're in class than just like if you were just watching a video that I recorded, right? Which is still good. It is still good to do the recorded videos, and I'm going to keep doing those, of course. Yeah, I'll leave you with another glimpse at adorable little Flurry over here when she was only a tiny pupper. He was only small. You get extra points for that one? Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You get tell you what. You get extra points on my assignment, the one that I'm doing. Sure. I'll add on a little 5% to your test for spotting the teacher's problems. There we go. Actually, don't attempt to try spotting the teacher's problems like in general. I really don't want to know. Like that would be a bit too depressing, I think, when people are like, "Oh yeah, well, here's one of your problems. Actually, you've got a bald spot." Boy, no, I don't need to know that. I'm content not being aware if I've got one back there. Okay, so maybe just we'll stick with math problems specifically. All right. Anyway, yeah. Glad to have another week down. This is week 4 of distance teaching. Yeah, seems to be going well. People are working, getting their stuff done. Glad to be here, able to still help people out to get their math work finished. Okay. Yeah, you know how to contact me. Drop me an email if you got any questions, and I'll get to them on the next stream. Yes, thank you. Enjoy your weekend as well. Stay safe, and yeah, I'll see you Monday.